Win a Pageant, episode 71.
I created this step-by-step process after training thousands of women across the U.S. to win. Now you can have access to these winning strategies when you join me every Wednesday. Let's win a pageant.
Hey girl, welcome to the Win a Pageant podcast. I'm your coach, Alicia Darby. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the best way to choose your contestant number. It doesn't take long after your first pageant until you start to question the actual truth that all contestant numbers are created equally. In Pageantland, it has long been thought that being contestant number 1 is a sure loss. Now, there is some truth to that argument, but really there are 3 sides to the argument of which contestant number should I choose if given the option. And I'm going to break all of those down for you in this episode. Now, some pageants do assign contestant numbers. Others draw from a hat or draw from a hat for the girl to choose her own contestant number. So if you have the opportunity to choose, then this episode is for you. So here are the 3 sides to the contestant number decision and how you can apply each one of these to help you choose your contestant number. The first one is what I call set the bar. Leading the pageant as contestant number 1 is no easy task. You are the first to break the ice and to set the bar for the rest of the contestants. So if you are in the beginning half of the competition, you absolutely must set a precedence beyond any of the other contestants. This works really well for the girl that is super strong in the first area of competition. So I am talking head and shoulders above the competition. If you made it to the finals in season 6 of So You Think You Can Dance, and your competition happens to open with talent, then you need to choose contestant number 1 because you will set the bar so high that everything else will be a disappointment. If, however, you are doing a flute diddle-dum-diddle-dum-dee and you haven't been playing since the 3rd grade and you are feeling a little bit rusty these days, then you should avoid being placed in the first half of the lineup. The second is what I call start low. This is why most people avoid the first half of the contestant lineup. It's the idea that the judges tend to give low numbers at the beginning with hopes of leaving space to be wowed by a surprise 10 on down the line. Now, if you are a mediocre contender, which you never should be, and you should always be the standout winner, and I teach you how to do that, but let's just say that you feel like you really have met your matches here, then being in the first half of the lineup is not good because it will be death by low scoring. If, however, you are average at most areas of competition, but the first area of competition is your strongest, then being contestant number 1 isn't so bad after all, or even being in the first half at all. But if you nail your interview and they are super impressed beyond what you can imagine, then you are going to be favored going into the onstage competition, which is going to eliminate the idea of starting low, that low scoring very early on. The third concept I want to share with you is what I call leave an impression. Now, this is the idea that you actually want to be last in the lineup in order to leave a really lasting impression. For somebody who competes very similarly to the other contestants or somebody that does not have a standout phase of competition, this is a fine place to be toward the second half of the lineup. But to be the final contestant is not really ideal because you will easily fade into the sunset of the tallying scores and rushing to catch up from the judges' bench. However, this is an excellent placement for somebody who is very different from the other contestants. So if everyone's wearing a Sherry Hill high-low spangly fun fashion dress, but you strut out there in this amazing like salsa costume and your body is super sculpted and tan or something, you will be the most exciting part of the show, and then you will be highly anticipated. So after all the contestants are going and getting scored and whatever, finally they can't wait for you to come out there and just wow them. Now, of course, if you walk out in a pigeon costume or something ridiculous, you will also be anticipated, but not in a positive way that scores well. So that's the risk that you have to be willing to take anytime you step outside of the box. Now, these little things that happen at the judges' table are not things that you can control. Some pageants actually tell the judges to not compare each girl to each girl, but rather to just focus on the individual. But that is so tough to do in reality. Plus, some judges are rooting for the underdog. They're really, really wanting the best for the underdog. And they're just looking for reasons to give more points to the girl that falls and then she recovers, or the one that grew up on a pig farm or something like that. Some people really are just looking to give points to women. Others have it set in their mind what they believe a queen really is or looks like or performs like, and anyone that challenges their belief that doesn't fit into their box ends up with lower points. So you never know what's going to happen on the day of your pageant and how your placement is going to actually affect your scores and your personal presentation. So it has to be said that if you are the strongest, most standout, hands down winner in every phase of competition, then it does not matter where you are in the lineup. If you open the show, you'll get some low scores maybe the first time around in the first phase of competition, but then the next time around, they're going to score you fairly or above that. If you're in the middle, then you're going to be anticipated the entire time and you will not be forgotten. If you're in the end, you're going to be the wowzer showstopper. And before the ink dries on the last girl's 7, you are going to have a 10. The point here is that you have got to always go for the gold in all areas of competition, but recognize that consistency will really create a winner. And that, my dear, is how you win a pageant. Thank you so much for joining me for your Wednesday pageant training. If you're looking for some more goodies to help you win, visit winapageant.com. I'll see you on the next Win a Pageant Wednesday.